Hey everybody, welcome to our call. We are so excited that you were able to join us tonight. We're really excited about this presentation that we're doing. It's the first time we're doing it live as a webinar. We've done the presentations live in person, but never done it as a webinar. So bear with us, and we're absolutely open to any feedback that you can offer about how we could make it better, because we definitely want to make sure that this message is delivered. So the topic for our webinar tonight is unique strategies for getting out of debt in 2020. And we're going to dive right in. But before we do, just want to make sure everybody's clear. This material has been prepared by Jill and I. Jill, you'll meet Jill in a minute, for informational purposes, just to give you information, to give you knowledge, and to give you an overview. You should always absolutely consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors. We are not CPAs. We are not tax advisors. We have done a lot of research. We have proved what we're about to tell you with our own personal experience, but we are not tax advisors. You definitely want to always get advice from your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors. So we're going to jump right in, and we're going to take on the big, bad, ugly, right? We're going to talk about debt and the impact of debt in our lives. And so, unfortunately, most people that I know are living under the burden of debt. And debt it's like the silent killer, right? It's that stress from debt impacts our health in a significant way. Stress impacts your health in a significant way, impacts your happiness, impacts your relationships, not only with your kids, but with your spouse. That stress that you're under from debt impacts your self-esteem, impacts your confidence. It also impacts your ability to get the things you wanted. And debt can impact your ability to qualify for a mortgage for a house that you want. It can impact your ability to qualify for purchasing a car that you want. It's far-reaching and really overwhelming. And so, impact of debt on our lives. Again, and I thought this was a really interesting statistic. Jill and I did a lot of research. We pulled up a lot of statistics. 74% of people with debt made the minimum, just the minimum payment on at least one of their credit cards. And 21%, I don't know if you can see that number, 21% made less than the minimum payment. So what does that mean? That means these credit cards that a lot of people have at 18%, at 21%, every month their debt is growing because they're only making the minimum payment, or they're making even less than the minimum payment. And so that amount of money is now compounding in a really negative way and growing every month. So their debt's growing every month. And percentage of debt whose debt negatively affected their optimism, their self-esteem, their sense of direction, their ability to look forward and see past the dark cloud and the burden of their debt into, their future, and really kind of squashes your dreams for the future when all you can see is that the horrible burden of debt. So I want to share a story with you. This is my friend Christina. My friend Christina is a physical therapist. And now, it used to be you went to school for 4 years and then you went to school for 2 more years to get your master's and you got your physical therapy degree. It's now 4 extra years, I believe. And you can correct me on that, but I believe that that's what it is to get a doctorate in physical therapy. So 8 years of school, she has $200,000 in college loans, but now she's a physical therapist, right? Great. So she's out, she has a great job, she's a physical therapist. But what she told me was that she barely makes enough to make ends meet. And because of her debt, and because she's just not making it, every month she has more month than money, she had to go get a second job. So she works a very physically demanding job as a physical therapist, and now has a second job as a waitress at Outback. just so that she has a little bit of extra money to, like, for a gym membership or to get her nails done. I mean, this is somebody who works full time and makes a good income, barely making ends meet. And the really sad thing is, she said that, you know, for example, she just had surgery. And the weekend after her surgery, she had to spend it waiting tables because she didn't have any paid time off to cover her initial post-op recovery. So here she is, like 2 days after surgery, waiting tables. And this is the one that made me really sad. She said she has to choose which family members or friends she visits over the holidays or ever, because on top of not having enough paid time off from work, she doesn't have enough money to pay for multiple flights. So here's a classic example. Now Christina she doesn't have kids. You know, she doesn't have kids. She has a really good job, and she's still struggling. And this is my friend Shannon, my beautiful friend Shannon. She is the mother of Nathan. He's her superhero. She calls him Bubba. And he was born, as you can see, he has a prosthetic leg. So Shannon is his full-time caregiver. She worked before he was born. She had a great career before he was born, and she gave that up to stay home with him. And I think she loves every minute of the time she gets to spend with him, but insurance has a limit to how often it will pay for a prosthetic limb. This is what Shannon has shared with me. So the medical expenses are significant for her, and she can't work outside the home. So before I met her, before she kind of got on board with our plan, she had no ability to generate income for herself and deal with all of the medical expenses that were constantly coming down the pipe. And this is my friend Jill, who's on the call tonight. Jill, will you share your story with everyone?
Certainly, I'll be happy to, Dawn. Hi, everyone. I went through something that I think a lot of people can relate to. It was a surprise event. It was an unexpected event in my life. I was married for 18 years and then was surprised by a separation and divorce. And I relate it to people who have, unfortunately, a spouse pass away, they get laid off, there's a furlough. Life happens, and we don't usually financially plan unless we're really ahead of the game for those big bumps in the road. So with a surprise divorce, we had 2 big incomes. We had a really nice life that we had set up for our only child so that we lived in a really good school district. We were on track for retirement, saving for her college. We really wanted her to be able to go to college without debt, which wasn't my case. And with the divorce, all of a sudden you go from 2 incomes to 1. And basically that 1 income, to try and maintain some stability in the same lifestyle, it's really hard. And I will admit that probably for the first 6, maybe even 12 months, I was terrified. I was stressed. I lost a whole bunch of weight, not in a good way. I wasn't functioning well because of the immense stress and just not knowing what to do. And I started thinking, can I afford to save for her to go to college? Can she go to college? Will I ever retire? Will I be a burden to her? And so life happens. And I think this kind of debt, and especially surprise debt, when you feel like you've been really responsible and on track, being a successful W-2 employee, having a C-suite job, and then your life can quickly go to hell in a handbasket financially when there's an unexpected turn of events.
Thank you. Thanks, Jill, for sharing. And so here's some statistics that we heard. So we know what the impact of debt is, and now we want to look at if you were able to generate through bringing home more of your paycheck or through a residual income stream, if you were able to generate an extra $500 a month, it could save 95% of marriages. It could save 88% of home loss and foreclosures. And it would really make a huge impact and help people get out of debt. It could actually help 57% of the average American's debt. And the truth is, the real number is 78% of workers, no matter, at what level, are living paycheck to paycheck. So here's our idea. For 2020, let's change your financial life. Let's change your financial blueprint. It's a new year. let's set some goals, let's create a plan, and let's get into action. So tonight, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to start getting out of debt. And it's kind of a two-pronged approach. So when you listen for both sides of it. So because it really is a unique strategy that's going to help you bring home more of your paycheck if you're a W-2 or 1099 employee. It's going to help you make everyday purchases with pre-tax dollars. So save a lot on things that you're buying anyway. It's going to show you how to generate generous tax refunds to pay off your debt. And if you're interested, also create a residual income stream. But that piece is optional, but it's a pretty attractive part of the piece of the pie, right? So let's start the new year with a new plan. So in 2020, what if you could pay off all your credit cards? What if you have a plan to fund your kids' college accounts with pre-tax dollars? What if you could make money while you sleep? I do. It's pretty great. What if you could create an additional $6,000 or more in accessible disposable income? That's $500 a month. What if you set in motion a 3 to 5 year plan to retire from your job, pay off all your credit cards, fully fund your retirement, or maybe work part-time for a full-time income? Are any of those attractive to you? Are you interested in any of those options? Because most people that I talk to are really excited at that prospect, that in 3 to 5 years, they could achieve some of those goals. So I want to introduce myself. Jill introduced herself. I have been an entrepreneur for 30 years, an entrepreneur and business owner for 30 years. I run different size companies, and now I run my own virtual home-based business. I run it full-time, even when I'm off traveling around the world, because as long as I have internet, I can work from wherever I am. And that's one of my favorite things about what I do. But what happened to me was until recently I discovered that I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. And it has to do with taxes. And so I'm generating good income, but I'm leaving a lot of money on the table because I didn't have access to a lot of the strategies that we're going to tell you about. Some we're going to save for a future presentation. So this is really just the tip of the iceberg. These tax strategies are the tip of the iceberg. But I came to realize that even though I had really high-priced accountants, they were not well versed in home-based business, and they were not giving me the kind of advice that would help me take advantage of the fact that I was a home-based business owner. So we're going to rectify that situation for you with everything Jill and I have learned. So this is how I look at it. So for me, like out in the distance there, that's like the Emerald City, right? This is like the yellow brick road to the Emerald City. This is a bridge to your dreams. And your dream may be as simple as getting rid of your debt. Your dream may be, actually not having to go to work and being able to be home with your kids. Your dream may be retiring early, buying an RV and, driving off to travel around the country. Your dream may be having that beach house you've always wanted. Your dream may be going and building an orphanage in Africa. I don't know what your dreams are. I know what mine are. I have some pretty big dreams, actually. But whatever they are, what we're going to share with you tonight is the way to start building this bridge to your dreams. So what we're going to talk to you about is how to bring home more of your paycheck. And in this country, there are two tax systems. There's a tax system for W-2 employees, and there's a tax system for home-based business owners. And what used to be the case is that W-2 and 1099 employees used to be able to write off a lot of their expenses, right? They could write off their home office, they could write off, business use of their car, they could write off some different things that they can no longer write off. The new tax code in 2018 removed all those personal deductions, but it actually maintained those deductions for home-based business owners. So stay with me, stay with me. I know it might be a little bit confusing, but I will pull it all together for you. So here you go. Let the numbers speak for themselves. You, W-2 and 1099 employees, make a gross income. And then all the taxes are taken out, right? The federal tax and the state tax, and then of course Social Security comes out. If you're 1099, you get double whammied on that. You're paying 15% there. And of course your medical expenses are coming out, and your retirement, if you have that, all of that's coming out of your paycheck. And then what you have left is your take-home pay. Now, for most people, just this portion, the federal income tax and state income tax portion, can be, you know, the national average is around 30%. So just that portion, that 30% is that coming right off the top, right off of the top of your paycheck, and then all of the other stuff too. But the 30% is what we can impact with this strategy. So how tax deductions impact your take-home pay: if you're able to reduce your gross income with expenses, legitimate legal expenses from your home-based business that you start up, then you're not going to pay the taxes on that. Now, your expenses will show you are things that you're actually might have been already doing anyway, might have been purchasing anyway, but now you're going to purchase them for your business. And the important thing to know is, keep in mind during this whole conversation, you don't have to generate all of the income that we're talking about, all the income to be able to write off against it. You don't have to generate it from your home-based business in order to take advantage of the tax benefits. So let's say you have a home-based business, it's not earning, you know, it's a startup. The IRS knows that startups take a while to get going, and it might not be generating, might only be generating $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 a year, but your tax expense, your expenses might be much higher than that. So that's when it's going to go against your W-2 income or your 1099 income. Hopefully that's not too confusing. We're going to keep going. Write down all your questions or share them in the chat box, and Jill will take a look and see if she can answer them, or she'll bring them up on the call for me. So, would you rather buy these with pre-tax dollars or post-tax dollars? So recently, I bit the bullet. I can't believe I did it. But for business reasons, and because my business is very driven with images and photographs, and Apple makes that a lot easier to work with and have all kind of synced up together if you have an iPhone and an Apple computer. So I bit the bullet and I bought the iPhone 11, and I got this Mac Daddy MacBook Pro that, and the total when I left the Apple store was $3,800. Like I've only ever bought $500 laptops. So this was a really, really big investment for me. And it was an investment for me and my business. Now, I was at that Apple store. It was full, you know, with a line out the door. And I guarantee you, all of those people that were in the Apple store, they weren't there buying stuff for their home-based businesses. A lot of them were probably W-2 employees, but they were purchasing the same things that I was. So here's the difference. For me, purchasing these items for my business, I had to generate, it was $3,800. I had to generate $3,800 in income to pay the $3,800, right? Because this is a full business expense for me. A W-2 employee or a 1099 employee, like many of you out there, would have to generate, it's actually, if you're using 30%, it's actually $5,500. You'd have to generate $5,500 in gross income in order to have $3,800 if you use that 30% number. And we all know that in addition, like I said before, there's more coming off of that gross income number, right? There's your other expenses. But if we just use that 30% as a conservative number, you have to generate $5,000, you have to generate $5,500 in gross income to spend $3,800. I have to generate $3,800 to spend $3,800. So it's a really big difference. Now, this is the one, this is like my favorite one, right? Do you like spending time with your family? I love spending time with my family. My family is my world, right? Not just my kids, but my mom, and I have 5 brothers and sisters and a really big extended family. I love spending time with my family. I love going to visit my family. My kids now live in Seattle, in Chicago. My mom lives down in Annapolis now. So I have to travel to see my family. Well, with my strategy that I've employed, I've made sure that my family are all part of my business. And as a result, when I go to visit them, I make sure that we talk business. We talk about what we're doing. We talk about the business, and I make sure that we have a business meeting. And so my visit is a deductible expense. So for example, my kids live in Chicago. Chicago is a 1,400-mile round trip from here. If I go to visit my kids in Chicago, my kids that are part of my business, if I go to visit my kids, 1,400 miles, the IRS gives me 58.5 cents per mile as a reimbursable expense. That's what was it, Jill? $819, $814, something like that.
$819.
$819, which is 1,400 miles at 58.5 cents a mile, that I'm able to deduct as a legitimate business expense because I am having a business meeting with people that are in my business. Brilliant, right? I mean, and that's not just once a year. Like, I like to go see my kids in Chicago. I fly out to see my son in Seattle. I drive down to see my mom. I've made sure that they're all members of my business. And I make sure that we conduct business. Sometimes they'll host a meeting for me. Sometimes I bring them samples and we, talk about some new products, whatever it might be. So that's tip number 1. Stay with me. These are some sample deductions for a home-based business. And again, these are not, this is very variable. It depends on what you spend for your own home-based business, but these are all legitimate expenses that you can take for owning a home-based business. So let's say you start this home-based business, right? And because that's the whole point. The whole point of this is the way to get out of debt, the way to reduce debt, bring home more of your paycheck. All of this is based on starting your own home-based business. And I know that sounds scary, and I know a lot of people have never owned their own business, and I know, don't panic. Don't panic. We're gonna go through it all. It's really super simple. So these are just some of the things that you can actually deduct as legitimate business expenses, right? When you buy new office equipment, when you buy for your home office, when you buy a new laptop, when you buy a new printer, when you buy an iPad, when you buy another cell phone, depending on how much you use them for your business and personal, like if you're splitting them, that depends on how much you can write it off. Now, for me, I have multiple computers. And so my Mac that I just bought is absolutely 100% deduction for my business because that's what I'm going to use it for. And I have other computers that I can use for my personal purposes. But office supplies, absolutely 100%. Paper, pens, staples, printer ink, folders, even, we didn't even put it down here, but even, office equipment or, a bookshelf or a file drawer, or if it's all for your business, it's a legitimate expense. And then there's more. There's, again, the deduction is going to depend on how much of it is personal and how much of it is business. So that's where the 50% versus 100% comes in. But if you travel, like I did to go meet my business partners in Chicago, 100% expensible. If you, for example, if I had to take a prospect out for dinner and we talk about our business, then you can write off part of that dinner, right? And then so we came up with, again, a very conservative number of $10,000. And that does not include the other really big strategy, which is having a home office deduction. We're going to tackle that in a whole another call. We don't have time for that tonight. So we're going to keep going, right? Be strategic. We're all about being strategic. This is about making your money work for you and doing everything legally within the definition of the IRS, but using their definition and still writing off legitimate business expenses. Now, for me, for example, I do a lot of presentations. I'm a public speaker. And I also, when I'm at my business events, I'm actually, up on stage and getting an award. And so everything that has to do with my public image as a public speaker, I'm able to deduct because it's a business expense. My public persona, my image, my personal image is part of my business. And so I'm able to deduct get my hair done before I go. I'm able to deduct my mani-pedi. I'm able to deduct my dress and my shoes and what I'm wearing on stage because it's all part of my business. So think about it, be strategic. I know we're just starting and now all of a sudden I'm talking about presentations, so you may not be able to take these write-offs unless you're doing that, but it's just an example of what's possible. I mean, there's the airplanes there because I love to travel. I love to travel, and Spain actually is one of my favorite destinations. I've been going there for years. My company just opened in Spain. So I went over and I have some friends there. So they're now on my team. And that means that, and I just came back from a trip to Spain. I was there at the beginning of December. I was there doing some hosting some presentations and doing some meetings, and brought them all samples and talked about the business. And I'm able to write off my trip to go and see my friends in Spain as an absolutely legitimate business expense. It absolutely was business. So are you starting to get the picture, right? So I think you can see that having a home-based business is a very clear choice. And I'm sure for a lot of you, the thought of having a home-based business when all you've ever done is work for somebody else, when you've never had anything like that, can be paralyzing. I mean, it can be confusing, and you might think that it's like there's just too much to learn, and it might just shut you right down. But I'm here to tell you it's really not that. It's not that hard, and it's not confusing. And so you might be thinking, oh my God, how do I start? Do I need a lot of upfront capital? Is there a franchise fee? Franchise fees are usually $50,000 or $100,000. Do I have to create an LLC or subchapter S or I don't even know what, a sole proprietorship? What do I need to do? Do I need a lawyer to do that? Do I have to have expertise or experience in something? Do I have to have some unique service to offer? The answer to all of that is no. What we have and what we found and what we're about to share with you is what has worked for us. It's a business in a box. And so what I found, so I was a business owner. I was making great money, actually, but I never saw my kids. I was working really hard. I was working 60 or 70, sometimes 80 or 90 hours a week. I never, in the month of December, I was not baking Christmas cookies with my kids. I was out doing other people's Christmas parties. I had an event business. I never saw my kids for the whole month of December. And so while I was really successful, what I was missing was the ability to control my own time and be able to spend it with the people that were the most important to me, which was my kids and my family. So what I found with this solution was I could control my time. I could be at the bus stop every day. I could take advantage of the tax benefits of owning my own home-based business and make my money go a lot further. I could build wealth with this. I'll explain the compensation plan in a minute, not just for myself, but for my entire family. I could make money while I was sleeping. Now, how about that for a novel concept, right? And I was able to leverage my efforts and leverage my time. And so as a result, I was able to create more with less. And that's what I've done. And now I want to show you how to do the same thing. We have an easy solution. Really, it's an easy solution, and you don't need to make a huge upfront investment to create this new business. You don't have to invest in a ton of inventory. You don't need to ship anything. You don't need to worry about billing. You don't need to worry about sales tax. You don't need to spend money on advertising. You don't need to worry about payroll or having employees and having all the issues that employees bring. You don't have to have a brick and mortar. You don't need any of that. So no huge upfront expense. And this is a business in a box. And you have a whole group of people that are going to be by your side, helping you, encouraging you, showing you, sharing with you what they know for free. I mean, that's just how, like mind-boggling, right? Too good to be true, right? But it's true. So this is the business model that works for me. This is the business model that Jill has adopted. This is the business model that actually Shannon, Nathan's mom, if you remember from earlier in the call, has adopted, to not only take advantage of the tax benefits of owning a home-based business, but all of us actually are also generating residual income through this. And the way that you can do it, you don't have to, so we'll get into it in a minute, it is health and wellness. And it's products that all of us use every day. And it's products that I guarantee you that you are actually spending money on already. It's weight loss products, protein shakes, energy drinks, vitamin supplements, meal replacement bars, athletic performance supplements, skincare. I mean, my company, my virtual health and wellness store, has over 110 products. And I guarantee you the products that you're already spending money on outside at other places. And so basically this business model is, and I'll show you on the next slide in a minute, you take that money that you're already spending other places, you spend it at your own virtual health and wellness store. You actually get a rebate for spending money at your own store. No home parties, no inventory, no distribution necessary. And you can show other people how to do the same thing. Again, even simply for just creating this business and being able to take the tax benefits and, or if you're so inclined, actually also creating residual income for yourself. And so the startup cost, I don't know where you think you're going to find the ability to start up a home-based business for less than $200, but it's actually right here and it's tonight. For less than $200, you can start your own home-based business. You can go into 2020 owning your own home-based business, and let me show you. The cost to receive the tax relief with the Isagenix business, $150 a month. It's about $150 a month, $160 a month is the minimum that you have to spend to stay engaged in the Isagenix compensation plan. And it's redirected spending. Again, turn your regular spending that you're already spending on all of those products into products that you're buying at your own virtual health and wellness store. And then as a result, create this business that we're talking about. How does Isagenix qualify for home-based business tax deductions? You set yourself on auto ship with about $150 worth of those products every single month. At some point along the way during the year, you do have to find 2 people, a minimum of 2 people that either you bring to one of these webinars and they see the benefit of setting up their own home-based business and they do it with you, or they might be people who just want access to really amazing, high-level, high-quality, super convenient nutrition. Like it could be one or the other. They could want the home business, or they could just want to use the products that you're using because they're amazing. The products speak for themselves, I promise you. Like that's the least of your worries. And the other thing the IRS is going to look for with your home-based business is that you attend a training event. They want to see that you're serious about building your business. Well, this is a training event. You're learning right here how to share Isagenix with other people by bringing them to this exact same webinar. And so there's some other things. I mean, we'll go over the guidelines with you, and there's some things you have to do, but really what you have to do if you choose this model, this very specific model that we've created, is learn how to invite people to this webinar. That's your business activity, right? And so, are you ready? Are you ready to launch your business, but you don't know where to start? I mean, it's a no-brainer. I'm telling you, if you're not ready, I can't even imagine, like, what questions do you have? You can type them in the chat box, or you can, I'm going to give you a phone number in a minute that you can call or text your questions to, because I don't know how, if I had seen this presented this way, 20 years ago, I would have said, absolutely. Spend $150 a month to access potentially $10,000 or more in tax savings. Where do I sign? And how fast can I tell the people that I care about? That would have been my reaction. So we make it easy. All you have to do is get people to this presentation. We'll help you get them on board. We'll help you get them trained. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to learn anything about nutritional products. You don't have to, you just have to get them to this webinar and get them to us. And then we'll show them the exact same system that we're showing you. So here's the people you want to talk to, people who could benefit from bringing home more of their paycheck. How many of those people do you know, right? It could be people who actually have an entrepreneurial spirit. This is an amazing, amazing business opportunity for entrepreneurs. It could be people who are committed to creating multiple streams of residual income. Most highly successful people have 7 or more streams of residual income or other income, 7 or more streams of income, not just one, not just their job. They know the drill. They know where the tax savings are, right? The really successful people. And you might know people who are just really desperate to control their time in their life and to control and have some access to their own money. And you might know some people who all they really want is to not have to go to work every day and they just want to be home with their kids. All of those people are the kind of people that really benefit from talking to us and getting started with this. And so the benefits of joining our team, we help you recruit by inviting your prospects to this webinar. We hold weekly team training. We know how to validate this business to the IRS. We know what the requirements are. We have resources for tracking expenses. We can show you how to set up your bookkeeping, so it's all in compliance. We can give you recommendations for virtual administrative help, for virtual bookkeepers, for people that, good resources that understand the tax benefits of owning your own home-based business and the strategies that you need to use. And we can help you strategize not only to receive tax relief, but also build a large income that becomes an exit strategy to retire from your day job, if that's what you want to do. If you love your job, if you don't want to leave your job, then this is about making your money go further and having some money for what I call the juicy extras. And so the other thing I would tell you is, if you are already in direct sales, or you've been in direct sales before, I absolutely guarantee you have never seen a compensation plan like this one. Because here's the magic secret. I'm gonna tell you this one thing, because this is the tip of the iceberg. Honestly, what I've shared with you is just like the basic concept. There are strategies that we could share with you that would blow your mind. Strategies for funding your kids' college accounts with pre-tax dollars. I mean, like, you will love this one. When we get to this one, not tonight, you'll have to come back for more. You'll love it. Look up the Augusta loophole. Like, that one's brilliant. There are some amazing, amazing tax strategies that you can employ as a home-based business owner. And I can tell you that here's the true magic of this, is that as soon as you get your spot, you set up your account and start getting your products so that you've set up your home-based business, you've opened the doors to your home-based business. As I continue to do these webinars, and as I continue to enroll and people that come on these calls with me, you are going to get the benefit of my hard work, because those people potentially will end up on your team. So as long as you're in, when I do this webinar next week, that could be people that end up, and you'll get the benefit from them. You'll get a percentage of everything they buy. I know, too good to be true, right? But true, absolutely true. And this webinar enrollment model, what we've created here is very unique, not just to Isagenix, it's actually unique to our team. I don't know anybody else who's doing it in exactly this way. So if that's not enough added value, the tax benefits are available to anyone who owns a home-based business. And as you grow your business, you can start saving on the taxes, and you potentially, as you get started now in the future, you could be creating 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, $1 million worth of income. Yes, it happens. Yes, I know people who are creating $1 million worth of income a year doing this, doing exactly this. Now we know those people are few and far between, but hey, how about an extra $100,000 a year? That would be pretty sweet, right? And it's available through what we're sharing with you right now. So if not this, then what? We're heading into 2020. What's going to be different? Wouldn't you love to hit the holidays, right? To head into the holidays and not be worried about what's going to happen in January when all your credit cards come rolling in? Wouldn't it be great to head into the holidays and be able to say yes to everything your kids asked for? Wouldn't it be great to head into the holidays and not have this huge stress hanging over your head, and to actually be able to relax and enjoy the holidays? Well, the time to start is now, right? Not a year from now when you roll around again and you're in the same situation again and you go, oh, maybe I should have done something different. Now's the time to do something different, because what you want is to go into 2020 with your business already set up so the whole year is completely tax deductible, right? All your expenses, you get 100% of the whole year as long as you've started your business before the first of the year. So to get started, really and truly, it's that simple. You open an account that opens the doors to your business. And here's 6 packs that Jill and I put together that make it really easy, super. Now there's bigger packs with lots more stuff in them. And if you have some health goals that you really want to hit right now, like the New Year's resolution is right around the corner, right? We know everybody's making their New Year's resolutions now. You might want to, one of your New Year's resolutions might be to lose 30 pounds. Well, then you actually might want to talk to one of us about getting a pack that will put you on the road to losing that 30 pounds. Or you might want to do like a full body detox and like have access to some of the other products that we have. I mean, we can do all that. We can talk about all that, but just to get started, because as soon as you open your account, you can always add on all of those other things. These are really simple ways to get started. Here's 6 different focuses, if you will, that you might have. I mean, we have solutions for weight loss. We have solutions for energy. We have solutions for performance at the gym. We have solutions for healthy aging. We have solutions in all of those areas. So pick one of these starter packs and text it to Jill. This is Jill's number, 301-580-2607. And if you're confused about the packs, came back. Take a screenshot, or to get your camera and just take a picture of the screen so that you can try to remember which of the ones you want to talk to her about. And if you came to this call invited by somebody other than Jill or myself, you can call them and talk to them about which pack is best for you. Or when you call us, just let us know that you were referred by, who you were referred by, so we can make sure you get back to the right person. But here's the deal. Enroll today to launch your home-based business. You'll get everything that I told you, ongoing training and support, some tax guidance. Now, again, we are not CPAs. We are not bookkeepers. We're not tax experts, but we can tell you what to ask your tax advisor. We can tell you what strategies to talk to them about. We can tell you how to plan to maximize your tax benefits of owning your own home-based business. And if you enroll tonight, you will actually get your membership paid for free. either Jill or myself will pay the $29 fee for you to open your own business, because, you know, it's what do they say? It's not speed of the leader, is the speed of the pack. You know, it's, you'll be rewarded for jumping in and getting started. So it's as easy as sending a text Jill, sign up now to get set up for savings in 2020. You want to take action today. I can't stress it enough. Today is your opportunity to have a plan for next year to get out of debt. And also maybe open the door to some really significant additional income that you might have thought was never thought was possible. So thanks everybody for joining our webinar. I really enjoyed speaking with you tonight. We'd love to hear any feedback you have. Happy to answer any questions you have. But don't think about it. Don't go into analysis paralysis. I mean, we're talking about $200. $200 for products that absolutely work, are of the highest level, the highest quality. $200 to open the doors to your own business so you can start tapping into some of these strategies that we've started to share with you on this call. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon. Have a great evening.